Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to the post-fight with Stormybman for this Saturday, June 24th, 2023. This is the post-fight show for Adames versus Williams. Berlanga versus Quigley. Though I didn't tune in to the DAZN broadcast at all, I will have to catch those fights on replay because I thought that the Showtime card took precedent over that as far as my concerns were. But welcome to the show. The cards both have just wrapped up, and we are here to talk about what we had this evening. Once again, the overlapping of these shows, and there's definitely a better way to do this so that boxing fans can get their full dose of the sport. And I have to say that they have done it before the correct way, but they seem to love to revert back to the way to make you choose, and this is not a sport to choose whether or not you want to tune in to watch fights. You want to watch fights. Their job is to set them at scheduling so that you can optimize your viewing pleasure. You don't see big films opening on the same date, making audiences choose which summer blockbuster they want to go see, huh? You're not going to open up Fast and Furious on the same date that The Flash or Mission Impossible premieres, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Even if they were to put one on one day and the other on another. Friday night, Saturday night. Saturday night, Sunday night. What's so hard about that? What is so hard about that? But here we are. And once again, we have controversy on this Showtime broadcast. Things were getting a little hairy. And once again, we saw referees impose themselves. They didn't even give the judges their chance with their pens. They decided to take matters into their own hands. When this happens, you have to feel for the fighters who train for almost 12 weeks to come out and perform on one night, and to have someone take that away from you that doesn't even participate. A judge, a referee, and then they're allowed to go back into the darkness and not explain themselves, not to come forth in truth and say, well, I messed up, I did this, I did that because of this or that, but they're allowed to be protected. So when Earl Spence Jr. says, where does that 3% go? It's definitely not going to the betterment of the fighters, the fight game, or the sport. So they need to answer Earl when he asked that question, and answer it in writing so it can be held up in the court of law. That's called the rule books. And if you have rule books, you have to abide. That's legal. Message to any prominent fighters: stay the hell out of Minnesota if your name isn't Adames or Morrell. We watched David Morrell beat a man nearly to death in Minnesota a year ago. Beat the man into a coma. Where was the ref stepping in for that man's benefit, Because the A side, as Breadman was saying, was having his success. So they let that go to its completion. But on this night, when Julian J. Rock Williams, who is a former champion, by the way, was competing far better than most had given him any chance of doing, they had to stop this. They had to step in. Even the announcers with Steve Farhood and his scorecard were incorrect. This is one of the most close fights, highly competitive, definitely contested between two fighters that I've seen in a long time. Rounds going back and forth. Pretty much a neck and neck battle. You had a slugger against a boxer puncher. And the boxer puncher happened to be a few years older. But he definitely fought the wiser. And because he's a former world champion, and he said in his interview with Jim Gray earlier, when asked, he says because he's an elite fighter. He's a world champion. Where's that champion respect? Who the hell is this referee that refereed this fight? Any fighter that sees that guy overseeing their matches should protest. And who was that snob of a woman with the dark sport jacket on and glasses calling for security on Breadman? Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Because he was letting the ref have it. Somebody should get her out of there and get her in a gym somewhere, huh? Keep the croissants away from her ass. Yeah. I am tired of them imposing themselves on the sport when we're getting something great, and they seem to always muck it up, imposing themselves. That's like being in the movie theater and you're watching a brand new grand opening movie, right? And somebody stands up and says, this is the part where so-and-so dies and so-and-so goes to jail and nobody survived. It's like, get him out. Who is this dude? Ruining a beautiful night of boxing. A beautiful night of boxing. We're seeing competitive matches, man. Blood all over the ring. Guts all over the ring. Nuts all over the ring. And a ref imposing himself on two different fights. Hold my beer. This is my solo. Let me go to the chat. See who we got in the building here, man. Appreciate everybody that's out there. Smash the like button if you haven't already, coming into the building. William Old School is out there. What's good with you, William? Todd Swindle. Young World, Shamara Sean, Shalom. Daryl Alexander, Chilltown Majors, Jared 011 Green, Jeff the producer, Naseem the Dream, True Boxing Talk, Alfred Yasharallah, Ratchet since 91. The Messenger 215. Texas T 346. Stephen L. the Mac. Universal Truth. 1 round with George. What's good with you, George? Shadow 979. What's good? A1 Hoop Zone. Listen, man. Salute to Julian. J. Rock Williams, man. The man performed admirably. He had it going on tonight. He was in flow. He was in rhythm. And they were probably still going to not score the fight properly. But what they did in that moment, this is where you don't allow a fighter to do what he's doing. Huh? A world champion at that. Salute to my brother, Pac-Man. ATL, Tay Jones. Tay, I was listening to your broadcast the entire time, brother. You called a great fight. And we're on one accord with how you saw it being scored and how the finale ended up. 817, Mr. Talk Too Much. What's good with you? Listen, man. Something has to be done about these corrupt officiating moments in boxing. It's bad enough you have fighters who may be skilled, who may have talent and ability, that don't want to get in there and compete with others who are the same. It's bad enough that you have that exists. It's not the entire sport, but it's a good portion of it. Maybe about 60%. But when you have these officials, commissions, judges, referees, when you have them out there imposing themselves, we don't need that. We don't need them. Exactly, Tay. He's no killer. And if he win a couple of more rounds, those right hands and left hooks that J-Rock was landing eventually may have him in some damn trouble. He was actually punching back when the referee stepped in with his back to him and looked facing Adames. So he wasn't even looking at J-Rock to assess what's happening. If I recall correctly, there are times when referees can impose themselves to a standing 8 count so that they can look a fighter in the eyes and see if he's all there or not. Oftentimes that's waved over. They just stop the fight. Stop the fight? You're being punched in the face for people's entertainment. There are going to be shaky and rocky moments. Could you imagine these officials of today stepping into Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe battles where both men are rocking teeter to toe and back and forth and everything, waving stuff off before the guy can even come back because he has resiliency? The worst part of all of this The worst part of all of this is there's no consistency. None. In the previous fight, the co-main, Lubin and Arias. Arias was on the canvas, downed in the 5th round. And the referee counted like he was waiting for his popcorn to come out the microwave. That ref should have been counting over Tyson Fury when Deontay Wilder fought him in the first fight. Or the third fight. Pick a knockdown. So where was doing what's best for the sport of boxing, like Jack Reese stated after that fight with Fury and Wilder the first go round? This ref tonight stepping in with his back to J-Rock, halting the fight. His physical action almost looked like he was stopping it for J-Rock, to be honest. Yeah, Trick Nolte, salute to you, bro. That ref would have stepped in when George Foreman took the 17-punch combination from Evander Holyfield in their fight. That was a 17-punch combination. It was in the 7th or 8th round. Evander opened up on Big George. But with no consistency, this is what happens. And you take away a wonderful night and performance from a fighter like J-Rock. Adames is no monster, as Tay said. He's no monster. And J-Rock had proven through the rest of the fight. This is another part about the lack of consistency, people. J-Rock had already proven his resiliency. He got stunned and shook a couple times earlier and come right back and had great rounds. Listen, I had that one round where he took some real punishment. Was that the 4th round, I think, Tay, if I'm not mistaken, when Adames had kind of really opened up on him really bad. But he came right back in the 5th, and I gave him the 5th. These type of things can happen in a fight. It's a part of it. He came right back. He was dancing on his toes. He was jabbing and shooting that right hand lead down the middle on Adames' face, and it was working. You have ebb and flow in boxing. In great fights, potentially great fights, that's what happens. Ebb and flow. If it's a one-sided ass whooping, like Earl Spence Jr. quote, a one-sided ass whooping, if it's that, that's not entertaining. Unless it's your guy that you're supporting that's doing the one-side whooping. But I'm sorry. I love to see a man rise to the occasion, be challenged and tested, and decide, I'm going to plant my flag and I'm going to stand tall and strong and come back. When you have a referee that will step in there and take those decisions away from a fighter, They rob you of classics. They rob you of the opportunity to see whomever you like in the fight come around. This is disgraceful. And I sound the alarm for all you brothers and sisters out here who create content. You got to start talking about this more. I do it every time it happens, but I'm just one voice out here. Some of you got channels way bigger than myself. You need to say something, man. You need to say something. Turn the heat up on these pigs and let's smell the bacon frying in the damn skillet, huh? Because that's what they are. Pigs. And one of the filthiest behaviors of pigs is what? They eat and shit in the same place and space. Now, look at these referees from these two fights tonight, the co-main and the main. Oh, let's talk about the ref in the damn first fight too. The IBF Junior Bantamweight Championship fight that took place between, what's my man name? Fernando Martinez and Jade Borena. Now, Borena had what they call it, a contusion on his ear that popped. So his ear was busted open. The earlobe, there's blood gushing out. The blood splattered on the damn camera. Instead of calling time and going to the referee, going to the doctor and let the doctor decide. That's what the doctor is for, you freaking moron. He lets the fight continue, and the man's getting pounded upside the ear more and more. But if that was a severe clash of heads where blood is getting in the eye or something, aren't they supposed to call time, say it was a clash of heads, go to the doctor? Can he continue, doc? Okay, he can't continue. Let's go to the scorecards. If they had gone to the scorecards at the moment that happened, there was a good chance that Borena could have won the fight. The scores, I'm scoring the fight as I'm watching it. The score was close enough at that time. You give or take a round or so, and you score the unfinished round, you might even end up with a draw. The man ends up a few rounds later, the fight gets stopped after his ear looks like it's been to the damn slaughterhouse. The inconsistency. We're talking about this. This is exactly what we're saying. It's inconsistent. I said they need to stop this. The man has a life after boxing, outside of boxing. Maybe when the cut first happened and opened up, if they stop it there, he goes to the hospital, gets the ear taken care of, and then has to wait a duration. The doctors will tell him when he can fight again, so forth and so on. But the ear was so mangled, it looked like you could put your finger through there and everything after he let it go several more rounds. And then the man loses because the ref just jumps in and stops it now. It's like, oh, it's too much blood. It's too bad. In the 11th round, You might as well let him go to the 12th. Yeah, Alfred, that's actually set up, bro. Stormy, I'm partnered with the AdSense program, bro. So there will be some ads for some of you. For some of you who get the YouTube where you don't have to see ads at all, then that's what happens. But you know, this is how I make some money, man, through the ad partnership. So I'm just explaining. But we're here. You ain't missing nothing, really. You're not missing anything. We're here. Universal truth. That's absolutely correct. Margarito had Lou John's ear torn from his skull. What was that all about? How could that fight continue to go on? I'm like, listen, the guy ear is hanging off. That was like when Marciano once almost had his nose hanging off his head. What the hell? You can't fight like that, man. Yeah. So you can basically say all three fights on Showtime tonight were compromised by insufficient officiating by these judges, man. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. But salute to the fighters, who participated tonight in this 3-card fight on Showtime. All 6 men performed. Some better than we thought. But in all 3 bouts, they were professional. They were professional. But these referees, my goodness, we got to do something, man. Yeah, salute to Trignolti coming up with the history lessons for you guys. Arturo Gatti could not see out of one eye. It was closed shut. And the other one was closing. And they told him they was going to give him another round, and he went out and knocked out Wilson Rodriguez with a giant, devastating left hook in the next round. One for the record books and the classic film reels and highlights for Arturo Gatti's career. See, these are the type of things that happen when you stay out of the action. You stay out of it and let it run its course, come to its conclusion. The best referees are rarely seen during a match, only when they need to assert themselves with either too much holding, fouling, but they command the respect of the fighters also, so the fighters know that they got to be on their A game in there. We're seeing too much of this. Far too much. It's like everything has turned ultra soft. Like you can't tackle the quarterback in the NFL anymore. Him wearing a red shirt or jersey during practice is not good enough. They got to put it on him while he's in the midst of a game now too. So you can't put your hands on him, but he could stand in the pocket and throw 60 yards for a touchdown. I'm in Tay Jones's chat during the live call of the fight. And I'm writing in his chat, I'm saying, man, J-Rock, he's boxing his ass off tonight. This kid is boxing his ass off. Yeah, he's in there with a strong guy. Yeah, the guy was strong. But J-Rock is what, like 33? And Adames is what, in his late 20s? So I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, man, if he can continue to do this. Now, Breadman, who did a wonderful job. Salute to Breadman. I would have shared a tidbit of advisement to J-Rock and any fighter like J-Rock that's in there with a guy who happens to be physically strong, like Adames was competing with him. There are moments where you want to tie the guy up, and J-Rock was doing that. But also to conserve your strength, there's another tactic and form of changing a fighter's momentum like that. And that's to keep him turning. If he's in the southpaw position, you want to turn him to his left in a circular motion. If he's in the southpaw position, you want to turn him to his right. I'm turned around here trying to describe. You want to turn him to his right in a circular motion. Make his feet cross over. And you do the opposite if he's in the orthodox position. You do the opposite. What that does is it takes the strength and power off of his punches. The leverage is not the same if he's turning because his feet are moving. Now, what J-Rock was doing in certain instances, he was tying them up, but they were wrestling a little bit. And like, for an example, when Evander Holyfield fought Mike Tyson the first time, he would tie Mike up and walk him backwards, or tie him up and walk him in a circle. You switch it up from time to time. That's how it's not as physically imposing on you as the fighter. Because you could get tired with all that grappling and everything, right? Plus, you're trying to be mindful because the sucker trying to hit you in the clinches and everything. So, just to clockwise, counterclockwise. Yeah. It works. It works. But I tell you guys, these are the kind of things that you have to know that when referees impose themselves, man, it takes all of that excitement out. It's like letting the air out of a balloon. It's like letting the air out of a balloon. Salute to 225 Boxing Talk out there in that super chat. He says, salute Stormy for the insight and knowledge. Hey man, I appreciate you, 225. Thank you so much for your donation to the show, man. Thank you so much. But this is what it's all about. When we saw these two men, it was a battle, a war of attrition. No one was caving in. No one was giving in to the other's demands. Adames couldn't get out of the way of those right hands from J-Rock. It's just that J-Rock doesn't have one punch knockout power. But those were scoring shots, and that, in my mind, was giving him rounds. And someone with a little bit of pop on their punches more than what J-Rock can do, Adames is in trouble, people. Because he don't know what move your head off the center line means. Just like Luis Arias in the fight before. Couldn't move his head. And he got popped. And Lubin can pop. That fight was stopped in the 9th round. I had it. If you score the 9th round, but that's the round the fight was stopped. I don't know if Tay is still out there. Tay, if you're still out there, please, show a sign of support. Just let me know you're out there. But I'm going to tell you, I had the fight 5 rounds to 3 for J-Rock. Yeah, I had it 5 rounds to 3 for J-Rock. 5 rounds to 3 for J-Rock. And I had given him the round 8 before the stoppage as well. So that's how competitive I had it. I wasn't just giving rounds to Adames because he threw some body shots. He don't know what the hell a jab is. He don't know how to move his head off a center line. And he's just trying to be physical in there. Salute to Shamar Rashawn Shalom out there in that super chat. He says, keep cooking, Sensei. Hey, man, this is what I do. No Smoke, Yahweh, what's good with you, man? I see you out there. Silvestrio, what's happening? Learn is in the building. Anthony Bolton. See, ring generalship, effective aggression, clean and effective blows. Defense is important. And J-Rock made that guy miss a lot of shots, people. A lot of shots. His defense was on point tonight. Yes, you're going to get hit in the boxing match. Yes. but he was just fine. Nobody wanted to stop the fight when Adames was taking all those shots to the face, huh? Straight shots, clean. Why? Because he didn't swell around the eyes? Well, you know, some of them melanated folk, hey, got tough skin. Hard heads. But it never stopped the fact that J-Rock was landing cleanly, huh? All I know is there's something seriously wrong when judges and referees become the focal point in the aftermath. They should be the least spoken of or acknowledged and noticed. Yeah, Shamar, you know why? Anybody but straight black. Anybody. They're not going to say that openly, but they're going to show you every turn they can. And some of them try to act that way too. Like him. If his trainer wasn't training him, his trainer would have disdain as well. You know, I'll tell it like it is. I'm looking something up on VoxRec real quick. Yeah, that's why, Shamar, in instances like this, I don't care about the numbers. Don't care about them. Because all that tells you is people who live in a box want to keep themselves surrounded by the doors and walls of the box. But they put little peepholes to look outside. Yeah. But I prefer a panoramic view myself. Huh? A complete circle is 360 degrees. There's a reason that certain birds, particularly like owls, their head almost turns 360 and they can see for miles when they're up in the sky to the ground. A snake crawling in the grass. Yeah, man. So though I can't see for miles, I keep my lawn trimmed so you can see the snakes, huh? Yeah. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. That's right, Anthony Thompson. The truth shall set us free. You don't have to be bound by deceit, by biases, bigotry, prejudice. You can be liberated from those restrictions. And don't be afraid for someone to try to hold you in check and intimidate you into thinking a certain kind of way, influence you in a negative sense. I know, William, that's hard, man. That's hard. It's like, and see, that's the norm, right? For boxing. Imagine if every NFL game or every NBA game or every Major League Baseball game was just totally riddled with the way that they can control those games on a night in and night out basis. Sometimes they let things go. Sometimes they keep things close. Sometimes they initiate things where things can get out of control, meaning blowouts. So don't think that they don't do it in the other sports, but every single game, Tay Jones is a betting man. He can tell you all about that aspect of professional sports. But I'm going to tell you something. That's why they have the line, huh? The odds. It's a racket. It's controlled from so many places that you never even thought about. Your favorite player may bat well, may shoot shots well, may carry the ball well, or whatever. But they could have a bad game, and the officials will help them have a good game or a great game. And it would look like, oh, he was struggling in the first half and came on in the second half. Or he was looking good in the first half and teetered out in the second half. Yeah. But in boxing, Tony Weeks showed you that all bets are off. Tony Weeks. Ain't nobody still talking about him, but I am. Because on this night, we saw his colleagues. Huh? Tony Weeks. Where he at? We know he ain't at the barber, huh? Because he's still wearing that same haircut from the days when Bobby Brown was popular singing, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Y'all mad yet? There's always one, isn't it, Shamar? There's always one. There's always one, huh? It's almost like they say, hey, look at me. Hey, can you see me? Can you speak to me personally? Fuck no. And fuck you. Sylvester is asking, who would I like to see Berlanga fight next after this performance? Feed him to John Ryder. If I had Drew Titan's whoa meme right now, I'd play it. Whoa! Feed him to John Ryder. Huh? Because he ain't going to get Canelo. Canelo has left the building like Elvis, huh? Yeah. And make it in the UK. Take his ass out of Brooklyn, huh? Take him out of Brooklyn. Take his ass over to the UK where riders 80,000 plus can intimidate Berlanga. You know, that's the play on the word Dracula. Berlanga. You know, take him over there. Yeah, Sylvester, the O2. Take him over there. Huh? Because I think, personally, that Berlanga is too coddled. Huh? He ain't learned a damn thing yet. He probably gonna go buy a bigger chain after this fight, huh? He ain't learned nothing. Somebody was saying that maybe Jaime Munguia, but let me tell you something. Jaime Munguia got problems of his own, huh? Derenchenko showed the world. Munguia, he just not it, bro. He not it. And hey, man, I'm going to tell you something. If Adames fights Lubin and Lubin is able to hit Adames like that, Adames goes to the canvas. Yeah, Adames goes to the canvas because Lubin can pop, man. But I don't know if Lubin is as defensively responsible as he needs to be. J-Rock was really on tonight. This was his night, man. This was his night. He was performing very well at a very high level. And I hate the fact that they took that away from him like that. Man, I hate they did that to that man. It's like my allergies are acting up. Chilltown Majors, he may never be ready, bro. He's already shown his mental deficiency. When he bit that guy, listen, man. Remember, when the knockout streak stopped, because that was all hype, huh? When the knockout streak stopped, he got frustrated. But it just shows the level of fighters that they were putting him in there with. Sylvester says, I missed the Adames fight. It was a good fight, man. Very good fight. Till the referee came in there and pulled his own pants and underwear off. Turned it into something else. A freak show. Yeah. I'm going to take this moment out and salute my man Focus Ball.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
Yeah, Sylvestial, that the whole thing about that, me calling it a freak show, has everything to do with the referee imposing himself on a great fight and not allowing the fight to run to its conclusion. That's what that is. Outside of that, it wasn't like the fighters weren't a freak show. It was the refs officiating that was a freak show. But it was all of the refs on all three fights on this card, you know. That's what that was. You know, and it's a shame. Because those men deserve better than that. Adames was probably relieved because he was probably thinking like, man, if this fight is close, can I lose a decision or something, you know? So that was probably what his concern was. But this is what we have to contend with, man. It's what we got to contend with. I don't like it. I don't like when that happens. This sport is actually, it's too good a sport to be doing this stuff, but they can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. But we're going to get on up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came out to check out the post-fight show. I made my points, you know what I mean? And I hope that others will stick to the guns and tell the truth on them as well, because it's important, man. It's very much important. So I'm going to go ahead and get on off of here. It's still early enough for me to watch some of the DAZN card. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace to everybody out there. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And check my channel out, man. I've been putting out these videos, man. These breakdowns and everything. I had a great video on Lubin and Ardius. I had a great video on Adames and J-Rock. So just check me out, man. Check me out with what I'm doing. And we're going to get on up out of here. Peace to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.